So, yes, thank you for tuning in, everyone. I was hoping that some folks would be interested to check that out. I was teaching Aaron how to play in TTS, but low key. I also wanted to try to convince more of you who were maybe thinking about trying the game that this is how easy it is to play the game. Like you don't even need to build a deck. You just need if like it's not even the only way. If you own Tabletop Simulator, you're set to go. We can just hand you a deck. Technomagus, however, hard G or soft G on the server, made a good point at some point. I always liked remembering this, that you shouldn't feel like you have to construct your own deck to take part and play the game and have fun. There is absolutely no shame in net decking, and Tabletop Simulator makes it like ridiculously easy to just be given a deck. Piloting a deck is a completely separate skill set from constructing a deck. So also, if you've been worried that like, oh, how am I going to build a deck and know all these community cards? There's so many. You don't have to build the deck to show up and participate. You can just come in and you can say like, hey, does anyone have a cool deck with Megatron Ratchet? You can just get handed one in Tabletop Simulator. Go on Teletran1.net. If you click on a character in the bot collection page, it'll show you a couple of decks using that bot card, or any card that you click on. It'll show you a couple of deck lists, if they exist, that are using that card. You can just snag one of those deck lists and use that to start off. Adam Edgman, Technomagus. Alright, I thought it was a soft G. I thought so. But yeah, please, we love it when people net deck. No one in the server is gonna go like, oh, you net deck that, because no one in the server is gonna claim that, oh, I've never net decked. So I just want to make sure that everyone knows like that the carpet is rolled out, and you don't have to be an expert in the game, and you don't have to even be like a super expert in all the various cards that exist. Everyone is just happy to have anyone playing, and with allied crossplay sets, I feel there is a really fun environment that have plenty of different decks you can play that all exist on similar tier levels. You don't have to worry about playing quote-unquote the right deck, which is something I've been very particular about. This is me getting selfish now and how I'm talking. I've been real particular about seeing this game, at least in one environment, grow in a direction where there are lots of decks, and there's no like 2 or 3 decks that are the good ones that every other deck has to exist under the heel of. There probably are, there's always going to be a few really good decks that are probably better than a whole lot of the rest, but especially going by the Omega Invitational, I feel like that made a few proofs that no one can really figure out what's a top quote-unquote meta in this environment. And even if you play like one of the ones that I would call like a very solid level 1 or level 2 video game boss kind of decks, like King Starscream, there's still just fun stuff in there that you can do. And if you say, hey, I'm playing this kind of deck, someone's probably going to figure out like, oh, I've got a deck list that'll be fun to play against that. So it's not like, oh, you're playing King Starscream, you're playing Volcanicus, cool. I'm going to play like super streamlined Galaxy Optimus Prime, who can win on turn 3 or something. Adam Edgman, I will never net deck, never plays. Correct, that also sometimes happens. One of my goals this coming year, I say nearly halfway through it, is to do a lot more casual play, which I've had trouble working into just the way my brain works. I want to casual play a whole lot more, and part of the reason I also wanted to do this stream is to get my head into the streaming game a bit better for using TTS, because I want to stream casual games. I want to stream some more Transformers TCG. I think it's fun to stream. I've had a lot of fun commentating on it as well. If you go to Servants of the Dice Gods channel or their live channel, a couple of the OI games in there I got to take part in commentating on, which was very kind of them to include me with that. And I had a lot of fun doing that too. So it's my long-winded way of saying that I want to do some more Transformers TCGing on my platforms, and I would like to include everyone as much as possible. I'm trying to think if I have anything else I can talk about, because I'm not used to doing streams that go for less than 4 hours. Jeez, I'm crow. What's in the Transformers news today? Let's go take a look at that. I'm going to close TTS so that thing stops floating there. I'm really tired of seeing that table. Servants of the Dice Gods. Just use the most busted character in the game. Wave 1 Cup. Picky Peeves. Find the character combos I want to try. Don't have deck lists. Try my hand building some too. Yeah, go for it. Because in Teletran 1, when you build a deck list, you also can edit it. That's, I think, a really important concept to share as well. Like, you can keep tweaking a deck list. That's one of my favorite things to do. Adam Edgman, true story, Sergeant Cup is the most played character in the last 3 events. Yeah, we got Zero Liddell of Teletran1.net put in more stat tracking stuff in that site. It's just terrifying. It's amazing. Tygon, I would say I'd never net deck, but even though I know very little about the game, I know what I want to play, so I most likely will. Yeah, just look for the characters you like, find decks that were built for them, and roll with that. I'm going to switch over. Let's see, does this work? It's TFW 2005. What's in the news? The Wreck and Rule collection. I don't hate it. That's been the hot news this week because that's when they did all the reveals. I think that they definitely front loaded the news. The 2-packs are the coolest part. Springer's okay. Bulkhead really should have been a different universe on his prefix, and I would have felt way different about him. I didn't see there was a side-by-side already. That's kind of cool. Ignore my completely unanswered inbox, by the way. Well, can I blow up the side-by-side photo? Yeah, I can. Yeah, I don't hate him. I'm actually really happy to see the green's a different hue. It's that olive green. That's nice to see. Obviously, most people really hate this, and for fairly valid reasons. That's fine. I think most of you are right. I would like to be gifted this. I wouldn't feel bad about that. I think it's a cool set. Like, where's the artwork of the bunch of them? Is that on here somewhere? This was friggin' cool too, by the way. I'm gonna talk about that in a sec. This is fun. I like Diaclone Universe. Headmaster should have been called a Dianaut. That would have been the cherry on top. Instead, they edged me. That was 99%, and then they backed off. And like, why would you do that? I'm talking about my satisfaction with toys, by the way, before someone goes like, "Oh, you weirdo creep." Seeing in the chat, Tygon playing Triptychon. Triptychon is, of all the Titans, the hardest one to play right now, because as he was stock from Wizards of the Coast, Triptychon sadly didn't work. But there has been work done to enhance him after the fact. I can't remember who all has been doing stuff for him, but you definitely want to involve some community card stuff on Triptychon. I can't find the artwork on here now, but you all know the artwork. I think the artwork is great. I think the set of figures is actually a really... I mean this as a compliment. It's a really good BotCon set. It hits all the hallmarks, right down to, Bulkhead being the kind of like, oh, why didn't you give him a different name? One. Bulkhead should have been called Mudbuster Bulkhead from the Question Mark universe, and there should have been Legacy Fiction, where that Bulkhead and Prime Universe Bulkhead share a lot of scenes to create the enigma of, is this animated Bulkhead from a screwed-up universe, or is this Prime Bulkhead from an alternate timeline? Is this Movie Hound reformed from the movie universe? Like, create this whole mystery of who Mudbuster Bulkhead is. That would have been what I would have done, which is why they should have hired me to do the Legacy Fiction. Oh yeah, wait. It's kind of depressing that one could technically call Lego Optimus Prime old news now, isn't it? That was literally the other day. I think that thing looks really cool. He's going to be over $200 Canadian unless they are really kind to us, though, and I can't swing that for a Lego set. But I sure would like to now that I know that Kaid worked on that one. The Importer, do you make revenue? I make revenue from my YouTube channel. It just, it ebbs and flows as it goes. Sometimes I don't hit the $100 I need for them to pay me every month, but that carries over and it doesn't go away. It just I have to wait like 2 or 3 months until you hit the $100. Do I get do it more to get free stuff from companies like Hasbro? I do YouTube mostly for my own satisfaction. Everything else is a happy bonus. If I was trying to get free stuff from Hasbro, I'd probably put in a lot more cheerleader work. And if I was trying to get revenue, I'd like more revenue, but there's parts of the algorithm game that I'm uninterested in pursuing. For instance, doing gameplay on a YouTube channel that has lots of toy reviews, that already nullifies me from several tiers of algorithmic support. Sorry, I'm looking at the chat. Beast Hunter's Bulkhead. Something, yeah, just the Beast Hunter's Universe Bulkhead would have been enough for me. Because it's like, what happened? How'd you lose the cool, weird Beast Hunter's armor and end up looking like Mudbuster Bulkhead? Anyway, this Twin Twist is neat. I might pick him up. I think the Springer's neat. I think the Springer is very gray, and I think it's a gray that is very ugly to a lot of people. which is unfortunate. I think it really says how much the stickers were doing for G1 Springer, and it's a shame that there's like no sticker tampograpphs on him to deliver that. But yeah, Lego Optimus Prime, I would like to pick it up. I'm hoping that there's not like a really limited time window on him, because I'm never quite sure with non-modular Lego sets. But I think it looks really, really good for what it's doing. It's excellent. And it's got a great backstory to it. That's most of the reason why I want it now, is knowing that former Transformers designer, now a Lego designer, bridged the gap to do a licensed Transformers set under Lego officially. That's such a beautiful story. But also, we got... This is setting, to me, a beautiful precedent. By the way, again, if I were more of an influencer, I'd probably be going like, how could... They're scooping us, YouTube hard workers! How can anyone get the first look video review of the Victory Saber like this? Which is what, foolish people would be saying who have no priorities. But this is fantastic. This is what I've always wanted. I want to feel like the amount of times I have yelled about stuff like this on the Hasbro Q&A calls has had a small effect on this. Not to like go like I did this, but they have done some things like the Instagram accounts that bounce right off of feedback that we have given in those calls. And I have championed for so long seeing stuff like this from the designer side. Prestige pieces like this should have their first video reveal be done from a designer perspective, to share the designer's thoughts, their notes, the hows and whys of little finicky things. I haven't even watched the full video yet, because this is beautifully 40-plus minutes long. And with Evan, who is like, of all the Transformers design team, Evan is literally one of us. And I hate that phrase so much, but it is a perfect description for Evan. And so I'm really excited to turn this video on and check it out, because, like, this is how prestige pieces should be revealed. A video with a designer just speaking earnestly about the work they did on what is now the near finalized production piece. I love it. I love it. Yeah, Timu mentioning that, the old WTFs, those designer Instagrams are a dream come true to me. I think we're already, as a greater body of people, we are starting to take them for granted a little bit, and I'm guilty of that already to a small degree. But I also, every single time, I share those on my Instagram constantly. I like every single one. I want to pop their stats up because I want that window to be open. And even though clearly they are okay to be so candid right now, I'm still kind of terrified that there's like one suited person 80 floors above them glaring down and wondering what all the noise is, But this stuff is like where a lot of my true hobbyist passion lies for Transformers, is these chances to get to know the whys. And like, my problem with a fan being the first one to do video coverage of a toy, speaking as someone who has been that fan more than 3 or 4 times, but not for like the big cool stuff, always like weird little freaky things. I don't like that, because we didn't make it. And so the first person delivering motion coverage of a thing, having to kind of deduce parts of it, to me, it just like, I don't know, it creates a damaged intro experience. And there is no better intro experience than a designer just like laying out like, here's everything I want you to know about blah blah blah, and here's why we did this, and this, and it especially to answer some of the why did theys before anyone gets it in hand, enhances not just video coverage, but the conversation we all have around the piece when we get it in hand, and when people who don't have it are observing in-hand reports. There will be little questions already answered going into that whether we know it or not at the time, I believe inherently enhance the conversations we have about the piece when it is out. Anyway, yeah. This wasn't even like in one of the public streams, but like on one of the Q&A calls, I talked about this. I don't if you think this stuff is cool and you haven't seen it, I did a stream on April 20 on 420 last month, which is a stream right after the last Hasbro Q&A call, where I tried to share as much information as possible that was not in the bullet points everyone else would share, which is very little things that are no one's at fault. I know the Hasbro cop, that's one of the Hasbro suits now coming down. They're looking for me. it's none of the news sites' fault that some of the granular detail I think gets lost in their bullet points, but I think it's some of the most valuable stuff we can get. At one point, like, you could see Evan's Transformers display above his head behind him, and it was like 2 LED lit rows of just solid Transformers. And one of the folks on the call mentioned, like, it's so cool to see your collections behind you. Evan goes like, oh yeah, here, let me show you more of it. Tilts the camera up. Oh, there's like 5 rows of Transformers behind him. And then he tilts it to the side. Those rows go endlessly into the background of the room behind him. And then one of the marketing people said that they are really enjoying having Evan having to work from home a lot right now, because whenever they want to know about a past project, he's like, oh, hang on a second. He gets up, leaves the Zoom call screen, and then sits back down with whatever they wanted to reference in his hand. He's like, here, I got one. Here, we can take a look at it. Just that stuff is so freaking cool to me. That like they're in that position right now with this design team. It's not a denigration of any other design team. It's just right now, boy, the fact that they are able to be so candid on their Instagrams, being able to say what they think didn't work out. It's a very simple, ignorable thing, but if you've ever tried to get that info out of a Hasbro person before, you would know that, like, Hasbro people would never say a single negative thing about their own product, just as a PR rule. And it's like, finally, someone, you know, in that company is at least briefly understanding the value in letting their design team publicly be human, you know? Which is to say, this Victory Saber stuff excites me. They got to do a 40-plus minute, like, and my understanding, having not watched it yet, but looking at the screen caps, is Evan is just doing like an old-timey style YouTube review, right? Like, just, hey, I'm behind the camera, and here's my toy in front of me. What's up? It's so cool. Not so Alex, who was I comparing? I don't even know. I'm trying to think. I don't think I directly compared a human to a human. I'm just talking about Hasbro design teams being great. Now I'm worried. What did I say? What did I do? Who did I throw under a bus, and how can I bully them harder for money? Anyway, what else is in the news? A train. I'm actually still excited about seeing how these trains turn out. Oh, good memories of old YouTube. Okay. Yeah. I haven't watched the video yet, but it sounds like that's what Evan's video is. And that also, Evan is, I feel like, in the age range of, like, did Evan pre-Hasbro, like, watch old late aughts YouTube videos? Do those inform the way that video was handled? You know, like, I find those kind of things really fascinating myself. Okay, yeah, okay. I just don't, I genuinely don't like to try to, like, what do you call it? Bus throw people, unless they have truly irritated me. Okay, Logos Miner totally felt like an old style YouTube. I'm so hyped to turn this thing on later on. But yeah, what else was in the, now that I've gotten that gush out of my mouth, before I invariably do it like 3 or 4 more times on other streams and on WTF and TFW. So, okay, I got a question. Is this a cryptid? Like, when I click that image, do you see Minimates, or is it just my computer that's haunted? Because these shouldn't exist. So, what? So what's... Why? What the hell is this? This whole page is encrypted. I hate it. The chat's not cut up yet, but I'm guessing you're all just seeing, like, pre-order pages for Legacy toys or something. Also, like, the stream caught my eye. Did you take that Sound Blaster pic from TF Wiki? I took that a lot. If you look really closely, that was from a podcast we made about the Netflix show. I took that screen cap from, I think, from a TFW set of screen caps, but they may have been communal screen caps. I just wanted to screen cap a Sound Blaster at high res, and I edited a little crown on him, because that's my Princess Sound Blaster photo. because I like the idea of Sound Blaster having a little crown. Look, we're showing a blank image. Look at this whole friggin' cursed page right here. I'm clicking back. That was a mistake. I never should have clicked on the mini-mates. There's Joe Kide, I think. Or it's is that Joe Kide or is that just a model? I didn't get that straight either. I was so distracted. I'll show you the other thing about this that was confusing. Is that in here? Yeah. Hang on. Hang on. Do you all see? Do you all see what I see? Oh, crap. This is all... No! Here! Where's the chat gone? What's this? This is in no other photos. Someone, on purpose, put this here. What is it? I asked on Twitter, and I got a bunch of funny, haha joke answers, joke I'd included. And everyone was haha, funny, laugh. Which makes it clear this is some kind of conspiracy. What is it? Orb. It's not, no, not the thing on top. Don't, you see this? I know you can see this. There's a notebook under it. Someone told me, oh, it's a paperweight. Why? Hang on. Why would you put a paperweight on a notebook? I had to get that off my chest. That was very important. A piece of decor? If I walk into someone's home and they just have a wooden orb sitting on a table, I assume the worst. I'd be like, what? Okay, hey, Jim Franklin, my good friend Jim Franklin. Thanks for inviting me over for dinner. You don't usually do it. And I see this wooden orb on their table. I'd just I'd grab the nearest knife. I'd be like, what did you do to Jim Franklin? Who are you? What did you do to my friend? And then they'd be like, ah, we couldn't slip one by you, human. I'd say clip that, but we don't have a system for that on this platform. Any other news? Any other news? What was in the news? Fans Hobbies. I never know what to do about Fans Hobby because their toys are so big and expensive, and they're like always like one step outside of what I can afford. So I just always watch from afar. I have Athena, but that doesn't count. She's small. This was fun. Don Figueroa came back to Twitter. Shared these concept pieces from way back in 07. I was looking at this and I was like, can you imagine this in photorealistic? How weird this would look now if you think about this in photorealistic. These digitigrade ankles just stomping and squeaking and springing around with all the bits squishing together. The little leatherette chair pieces getting all ripped up from the first time he karate kicks someone. Ah! Someone needs some, like, I want this, I want to see Studio Series move into concept pieces just to make a toy of this, because I also want to know how this gets connected to those, but flipped around and connected to the back of these. Take care, not so, Alex. Have a good one. Also, did you all see the super spicy tweet that Don Figueroa posted? Hang on, let me grab that. I thought this was funny. I get it. That's new. What? I didn't see these yet. That's freaking cool. Anyway, the spicy tweet. Where'd it go? I can't keep looking at these. I have to find the spicy tweet. Here we go. Because he's posting a whole lot of concepts from comics, from the movies, from etc. Popped in to say, by the way, Hope you aren't watching my tweets like vultures, but if you want to do something original, we'll talk. Doing the grind and also keeping the spice up at the same time. I thought that was fun. This, if I recall correctly, there is roots to this, not necessarily even third-party related, although I'm sure they are. If I recall correctly, before Don Figueroa kind of just like backed off the internet for a while, back in like 2013 or so, when they put out that deluxe version for Thrilling 30 of Stealth Bomber Megatron, Don Figueroa was kind of peeved publicly because I believe he felt that he had done a lot of design work for a released toy under the auspices of comic book work and was paid as a comic book artist and not as a freelance design artist or something like that. Basically, he was pretty aggro about Hasbro and Takara Tomy releasing Stealth Bomber Megatron as a deluxe, unrelated to him. In a way that I felt did make some sense given that he had done design work for them as well as comic work. So I feel that a little taste of that also exists in here, in my mind, if I'm remembering the situation correctly. And this is not invalid. I used to be very guilty of like seeing anything on the like the big one being T-Beast and going like, oh man, they should hit this up, make toys of this. And then someone made a toy of T-Beast, and then you find out, oh, people in Japan who worked on T-Beast as a Jojinshi did so under very specific auspices that it was only ever going to be fan art because of industry jobs they had, which then got them into hot water when someone made a toy of something that they had done in that dojinshi. It made me sort of second guess, like, oh, I should not be, like, fist pumping for that right off the bat. On the end of the day, cool toys are cool toys, but acknowledge when there is, what's the word I'm looking for? Scatter damage. But also, Don Figueroa, I believe, worked with Armor Marauders back in the day, which was a really cool original toy line that had one release and then just imploded, sadly. Because they had some really cool stuff that was going to come out to go with that Armor Marauders suit. Sadness! They were working with T-Rex on the internal structure of some of those things, and it was so friggin' cool! Oh! The T-Beast consequences, I don't think anyone was subject to full consequences, but basically there were folks who worked on it, and because someone was going to start making toys of it, the question came up saying, what, are you working on Transformers toys now, even though you work for X, Y, and Z? You know, et cetera, and et cetera. Like, MMC has no, like, they don't work with Alex Milne, to my knowledge, but I believe they put in the effort to get toys to Milne for free, which is, like, the least you can do. That is my understanding, at least from afar. I don't actually know. But I have not seen anything to the contrary, and I'm pretty sure at least once or twice that was the situation. Again, to get really granular, the Alex Milne situation actually gets really weird around Thrilling 30 skids, because, again, Alex Milne's designs were primarily for comic books. They were not done, I believe, as freelance toy design concepting, and so when you move into the extremely Alex Milne Skids Deluxe coming out, it kind of raises the question of, like, oh, did I inadvertently do toy design work under the different auspices of comic book design work? It's and that's also a whole thing that we as the public are not actually that privy to as far as a relation. It's more on, like, what you can pick up here and there. So there's always, with a lot of this kind of industry stuff, I think there is a general sense of it's not actually our business. However, I feel it enhances everything the more that we know on a very small level, at least, just knowing, like, who to credit for the work done. I'll go back to that. Actually, I want to go back up to I want to see what the other wrestler one was. What was it? Yeah, Steve Austin. Also, just in general, really good Snake Transformer design, who just happens to have Steve Austin's head. Which I'm digging. Anyway, I'm going to go finish scrolling that one page of TFW, and then I'll back off, because we're hitting 10 o'clock Eastern. I I will say, if not for Sam Smith's Instagram account, I would not have realized the differences between all of these. I didn't even, because I didn't pay enough attention to the Conehead one, because I'm not that into the colors. I didn't realize the wing sweep was different, but like even the null ray placement is different on a couple of them. So that's kind of cool that they're not just like straight read echoes. There's like a little flippity switchy parts and like two different heads. Hey, I don't hate this. It's just missing something. It feels like a cake that only has the crumb coat, you know? Oh, yeah, the Fans Hobby Double Dealer was up there. I don't know what to say though, because I don't have much experience with their big stuff. So like this doesn't tell me anything because I don't know how big that is either. Hey, it looks alright. They got the Eagle mode correct. Double Dealer has to look like this in Eagle mode, or you're not making Double Dealer. You're making some other weird toy who turns into a bird. So it looks cool. I like Double Dealer. What's his back like? Yeah, that's fine. Thoughts on what Springer to get? I mean, if you have all of them available to you, then I guess the real big question is, like, do you like Thrilling 30 versus Siege? I think they're both good. But I don't know what Springers are not so easily attainable right now. I'm very bad at the post-Thrilling 30 aftermarket on mainline stuff. Because the whole of the 2010s to me still was just last year. What else is on the bottom? What's below you? Yeah, I like these 2-packs a lot. These fossilizers are great. You got another fossilizer face option. That's always fun. Leadfoot's just looking cool. I like that Mirage toy a lot, so I'm excited to get another one. This is all still on screen, right? I'm not actually looking at OPS. Okay. Yeah, go for the historical moment of Warbot Defender. Get those 3D printed heels. Because, yeah, like, the main reason I'm also considering Wrecker Fellow version here is that the Siege one has some kind of a few janky tab tolerances, and I want to know if they're better on this version, because sometimes that happens on second versions. I'm just so back and forth on how I feel about the colors. Which, my subjective opinion on the colors. There is no objective opinion on the colors. It's your taste. There's something about them, because to me, everyone doesn't like the gray that I talk to who doesn't like it. I know a couple folks who are actually just into this. They're like, yeah, I'm just going to get it. But, like, it's either the green or the yellow. If one of those was more blue, and I guess that would make the yellow green. So if the green was a bit closer to blue, I think I would like the whole look a little bit more. Like blue-hued, like not full turquoise, but blue-hued. But yeah, I think this is also just begging for sticker detail, be it decoed or actual stickers. Like, that would make all the gray panels just like explode to life. The question is, do you want Hasbro to do the stickers or not, right? Because like their sticker sheets are always a little bit. Those factories seem to have like one kind of vinyl sheeting they use, and sometimes it really is not fun for the fingers. Let's go one more page. What else has been going on here? This guy. Where are more photos? There's only one photo here. This isn't helping my case at all. I kind of think this guy looks cool for my taste. There's got to be more. Yeah, there's more pictures of him here. I'll show you why. I'll tell you why I think this guy looks cool for my taste. Let's also just leave out the part where he's expensive. I know he's expensive. That's the sad part. There's two things that make me really excited. Number one. Can we see it here? Okay, good. You can see my cursor, right? Ugh. This jagged seam line stuff is so specific in its angle cut. That makes me really excited. And the other thing on that line that makes me excited here. these very specific angle cut hinges on the insides of his legs. Those two, like, when I see that specific geometry on a modern Masterpiece toy, it makes me excited that I'm going to get another MP36 Megatron or another MP Sunstreaker, which to me are peak Masterpiece. And so I kind of am excited about this guy. There's something going on about the vibe that's really working for me. Also, on its let me adjust glasses. This is not another car Autobot release. This is a van Autobot. Joining the vaunted club alongside Ironhide and Ratchet. With Masterpiece toys, where I don't fit in with the norm, to my understanding at least, is I don't really care so much about the look of either mode. I am 100 times more interested in the transformation, and whether or not that is given a loving treatment in a way that I feel is loving and has good flow. And there are just little things about Trailbreaker that are giving me that inclination, and I want to know more. Like Sunstreaker is just such an amazing little densely packed pile of good flow. Yeah, we're up to MP56 too. I try not to think about that part. Also, I think it's adorable, again, for the people who care about this, and I don't. It's like, hey, you got a chrome bumper or cartoon bumper, and apparently like a sticker you can put over one of his windows if you want him to look so cartoon accurate that he has the friggin' arm hinge lack of window block on the side of his window. I don't understand why anyone would do this, but I like that the option exists. And yeah, like my caring about the transformation, to be mean, is also why I generally don't really look at Fans Toys stuff, because usually the transformation is not worth the experience, and that makes the whole thing not worth the experience to me. Do I think the second Amazon capsule will be more Wreckers? There's a chance. I don't really. It's kind of a coin toss, because I don't know that there's really a precedent set for that stuff yet that one could really cite for being like the long-lasting precedent. I wouldn't mind more Wreckers, I think, because Wreckers inherently bring that BotCon box set vibe of, like, these unrelated toys are friends, somehow. I think this actually looks pretty good, too, because the backpack is what I call linear, which is that there's nothing sticking out at a funny angle, and so I like the backpack now. This whole thing was kind of confusing when it had a big thing over the bottom half of the toy, so I couldn't tell if it was just, like, Thrilling 30 or not, but there are demonstrably, like, Thrilling 30 related geometries going on, specifically this S-curved piece here. And there was something else I had spotted. The shape of this up here. That ovular shape. But the way the backpack forms up here looks like it could be the best deluxe going for the cartoon model RC for my own tastes. Which is not having funny, janky backpack stuff, and ideally, I'm optimistic, because it's SS86, that I'll actually find the transformation fun. That's my other big optimism. So I turned around on this one after I saw better photos. I'm envious of the movie fans who can actually, like, at a glance go like, oh yeah, this is Dark of the Moon Bumblebee. I mean, at a glance in alt mode, you can tell because of the spoiler, but, like, there are folks who will look at the robot mode and go like, oh no, that's not correct. That's not accurate. And I just, like, I can't tell. I could never keep up with all the greebly midriff detail changes that would happen between the movies. I'm always looking at the bigger shapes. Picky Peeves mentioning Fans Toys Rouge. That is, in my opinion, a categorically worse RC toy than most of the other ones on the market. I don't like it at all. I got to handle it for multiple days, so you can't even say I'm being a curmudgeon. I tried to like it. I tried to like it out of kindness, even, to the person who owned it. And actually, I'm just realizing that makes it sound like I smashed it afterwards, and I didn't break it or anything, but I did not find it an enjoyable toy on multiple levels. In fact, the most frustrating thing about Fans Toys Rouge is that she has 3 different interesting transformation moments, but they are so disconnected from each other there are so few ligaments tying that transformation together that these 3 different segments of interesting moments are connected by literally, okay, now everything's going to float around on sticks. And you just shove them past each other. Rouge is the Fans Toys RC, which I don't like and I think is bad, and I have balked at the comparisons between that and the Ocular Max one, and I understand where those comparisons are coming from in hindsight. I try to be empathetic about that, but there is literally no argument to me about the Ocular Max one being 1 million times the toy the Fans Toys one is. The tactile experience is like night and day, even is an understatement. For Movie Bees, check his boobies. I get it, because he's Bumblebee. I still can't tell, because I don't know what car fenders look like. They all look the same to me. There's a car shape with a line in it. I guess it's these little things? Or is it the thing in the middle? I don't know. I'm bad at this. I'm bad at movie Bumblebees. This little friggin' gremlin, though, are, much like Jolt, our best look ever at the actual on-screen model of movie Sideways. Who knew that he was just a deranged little, like, hench gremlin with his head mounted in the middle of his pectoral area? It looks like he's just been smacked over the head with a hammer and then didn't pop it back out, just built up the shoulders around his head. I like the shapes a lot on him. Anyway, I think that's everything. I was so excited about the video that popped up for this, and the video was just all the product photography, and I was like, all right, you're not going to show me a step-by-step, are you? Picky Fees, I don't mean to sell someone on... Studio Series Deluxes are expensive. Sideways is really, like, look, he looks so much like a cartoon character that it's like, that's the story of a lot of the live-action movies, right? Like, oh, what a cool, characterful little design. I can pull character out of this. And then he was a robot blurry doing a forward flip once on screen, and then his car mode got cut in half, and that was it. That was all. Dark of the Moon Bee has extra parts in the middle of his chest that resemble Kevlar body armor. I see that. Yeah. So it's this bit. Oh, yeah, because it is. Yeah, I see the plates. I'm so bad at spotting this stuff without someone telling me what it is. Dark of the Moon Bee also has a bunch of carbon fiber parts on him. Like, I see them in the alt mode. I should say I'm specifically talking about the robot mode when people have spotted it. I guess the texture on the CG model would be there. Because, like, on here, I can't tell. I just know he has the spoiler, and that was the whole big thing back in 2011 when the toys came out. 2011 was 11 years ago. Dark of the Moon came out 11 years ago. The bottom front skirt. Is that different? Or do you mean on the car? I'm thinking like Gundam. When I see skirt about Transformers, but that's a car word, isn't it? Timu, SS Deluxes are 40-ish euros. Yeah. 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 What a year and an era in our collecting to really learn how to, like, just buy what we want, right? Yeah, the carbon fiber, yeah, the OG Deluxe had it, but yeah. Okay, you mean the carbon. Yeah. Yeah, on the car I can tell more because I got better at spotting that stuff, but specifically, I just know I've seen people look at this and go like, oh, I can tell what that is, and I'm just like, or not even that, but look at this and go like, there may be inaccuracies, and I'm just like, I can't tell. How do you do that? But yeah, I think that's about all for the kooky stuff. Yeah, here's where Lego Optimus Prime. He's this many pages back, but this was 4 days ago. Was he? Oh no, this is the rumor. This is the listing 4 days ago. I guess it was in the last 2 or 3 days we actually got the photos. That was a whole funny thing with the Brothers Brick review, going out a bit too early. Evan shows all the transformation bits. I'm I figured at 40 plus minutes he was just going manual through the whole thing. I'm okay with that. I want to on an expensive toy. I want to know how it works because I don't want to break anything. Oh, the boy! I forgot about the boy. Masterpiece Transformers. Anyway, I should probably call it there. I'm just having fun talking now about Transformers stuff. Wouldn't you know, I enjoy talking about Transformers stuff. John Thomas Jones hoping to get my full-size Prime done for Rise of the Beasts release. Nice. Yeah, the instructions and part list for Lego Optimus to leak. Like, I was a little bit surprised how many stickers were involved with Lego Optimus, because I always assume high-end Lego does tampography. So when I saw all the sticker things, I was kind of like, really? But I also am not that close to Lego, so I might just be misunderstanding Lego's priorities with tampos versus decals. Sea Striker Ranger, listen to Vandals talk about Transformers. I should say, I assume, yeah, like, probably if you're tuned into this channel enough to be hanging out during a live stream, you probably are okay with me talking about Transformers. Okay, before the chat hears that, I'm going to guess someone's about to say they don't like hearing me talk about Transformers, so we can do the funny joke. But I also think that's pretty funny, so it's good on you. Whoever gets it first. If you're getting it because you heard me say that, though, I can tell. It leaves a particular aroma on the text you place in chat. If you try to sneak one under the table like that, oh, I'll know. I'll know. If only you could see the body language I was doing. I was twisting and squirming in my chair like friggin' a human serpent. Letting that part out. Vangelis goes over TFW 2005 News, my favorite CNN Plus podcast. Also, going back to the part about being better about monetizing what I do. Technically, I would be doing OBS streams of Transformers news more often. But I just can't be bothered. I just saw something. Does the T-Rex head have lips? I don't think so. I misread something, and I thought for a second that said we should listen to WTF and TFW together. That'd be super screwed up for me to just listen to my own podcast on a live stream. Hey, everyone. On WTF and TFW, we actually talk about toys as a primary focus now, because we've been all janked up by the last 2.5 years. So we always open with, at most of the time now, fairly lengthy just what we got that are Transformers this week, or this, our acquisitions, inquisitions, as I rebranded it. So we got a whole lot of toy talk on there, because to me that makes the podcast also a little bit more evergreen for folks who are let down by the lack of, like, it's not up the day afterwards and about the news. So I'm like, well, if we talk about toys, that's kind of evergreen. Let's see some more angles. I forgot this had like this has a clamshell packaging. Oil was used to create the clamshell for that thing. I love how this side-by-side does so many favors. It's just a stream of me agreeing with me. Reaction streams to the Phase 2 podcast. I've been watching a lot of React streams lately, specifically to certain songs I like, because I'm trying to figure out if there is an intentional level of media illiteracy going on about one of the latest Rammstein videos called Angst. And I think there is, but some people are understanding the really loud metaphor. What are my thoughts on Legacy G-Axis? I think he looks really cool. My main thing about him was I was like, after, and I'm over it, I should say. The noses on the Prime toys. I'm over it. It's fine. But it's just not my taste. After all that time, I'm like, well, they gotta put noses on the Prime characters to make them kind of gel in a little bit with the Legacy Generations look. Friggin' Legacy G-Axis shows up with his just wide, squished, grimacing Derek Yoniger face, completely untouched, 3D printed almost off of a panel. And I was looking at that just going like, yeah, okay, I get it. We're just coming in, we just want noses. That's what we want. He has a little squished booper there in the middle of that grimacing face, so he's all right. Yeah, I get it. But no, I think Legacy G Axis looks great. I think the sculpt on it is just friggin' solid. I think the alt mode looks fine. Transformation apparently is really cool. Going off of Okay, I just catching myself. So I was gonna say transformation sounds cool because Mark Marr from Hasbro said it was a really friggin' cool transformation. I will acknowledge it's likely that a member of the Transformers design team is going to say a Transformers toy has a cool transformation. But there was a specific tone about it, and in relation to the Takara Tomy name who worked on it. I forgot precisely who worked on what right now off the top of my head, but it had that certain tone of like, oh, but this designer did one of those transformations. That makes me excited about it. I might have, like, gone around my own point there in a way that made it indecipherable in human language, but hopefully that made some sense. Oh, now I'm just clicking through TFW 2005. Oh no, it's happening. The G-Axis has an appropriate amount of Furman. I'm also really glad that on the last Q&A they confirmed to us that they got PR to reach out to connect Furman to a copy of the toy, and that they were doing the work to try to figure out how to get one to Derek Yoniger. That's also why I'm happy about those Q&A streams. I'm really fortunate to be on the list to get in there. Because I've been asked before, why are you on the list? And it's because at Fan Expo 2019, I interviewed John Warden and some Hasbro people, and one of them said, you're on the PR list. And I said, no. And they said, oh, here, be on the PR list. That's how I got on the PR list. That's, like, the whole story. But I'm very thankful because those Q&As are very interesting, and I think a lot of really interesting bits don't get reported out of those Q&As for the sake of, you know, reporting the bigger bullet points. So I like to take it upon myself to try to write down all the weird granular parasocial stuff that I think is really interesting. Silver Snail, this is a little tangent. I haven't been to Silver Snail in 2 years, ever since they moved. They moved back to, for those of you who know Silver Snail, they moved back to their old location, sort of. According to their site, they got Trumpeter kits in stock. Sometime I gotta make the trek across town to go check that out, because I want to build one of these Trumpeter kits. And apparently Silver Snail has one of them, or two of them. Their site says they have Bumblebee and Blitzwing. So, like, I want to build one. But yeah, those Hasbro Q&As, like, I try to bring in useful lines of questioning, or at least useful lines of idea inception. So my apologies, I'm not, like, you know, reaching out, going, like, give me a list of questions for them, because generally we only got time to ask one or two, and from my sort of hobbyist experience of doing interviews, I kind of have very, how do I put this? I have very aggressive opinions about what's worth asking during a Q&A, so I usually don't seek input on it because I'm putting a lot of work into figuring out one or two for myself, which hopefully are useful still in the long run. The voice actor for Transtech Shockwave, I had like a friggin' out-of-body moment reading that line. I was like, what are you talking about? Sea Striker, Silver Snail is a vaunted Toronto area comic book store that also has toy stuff in it. Yeah, V-Build Revival. I have this whole... I'm so hung up for years now on wanting to do V-Build 100 the way I wanted to, but I lost my friggin' Fans Project Glacial Lord sticker book, and I need footage of one that has the stickers inside. And I don't know anyone who has one. And I don't want to buy another one. And mine is here somewhere, but I don't know where it ended up. And I need to film footage of it for V-Build 100. I'm going to someday. I have not written that off. It is always in the back of my mind as an active project. Oh yeah, it's subliminally incepting Omega Supreme. I still have I have it ready. I have it set to go here. Supreme plug scene. There it is. My webcam has the lid on, so you can't see me, but that's the Supreme plug. It's always ready to go. Cygnus 7, I'm kind of at the back end of the stream. I was introducing Aaron into Tabletop Simulator Transformers TCG with community cards, and we played 3 games. And then I was like, hey, I want to keep talking. I'm going to scroll through the news for a minute, and that's been going on for like 14 hours or whatever. Which figures from the current Transformers toy line are considered must-buy for novice collectors with less than 10 figures? Honestly, with Transformers, it is like specifically with toys in general, but with Transformers especially, it is so intensely subjective that I would respond with questions, mostly in that if you have any of them, which ones really resonate with you, and also like what about Transformers connects with you the most, because like there's a lot of answers to that question. Like an easy answer would be like right now, of all the toys that are on shelves right now, there are a bunch of very good Transformers. Like Studio Series Bumblebee movie Brawn is just like a really good Transformer, if you don't mind an alien alt mode. So that's like one answer. Logos Minor, I have a spare one of the sticker books, but it's creased or something from what I remember. Yeah, I just need to film close-ups as fill-in footage between the stuff that I did film in the old YouTube space. Because the footage I filmed for it was so cool, but like one of the cameras or something glitched. I don't know what happened. I'm missing the close-ups that I need to do the thing I want to do. And I think I just thought, oh, I'll just film close-ups of going through the book. That'll be fine. And then I misplaced the friggin' sticker book. And, Oh yeah, Deluxe Kingdom Air Razor, or the 2-pack Skywarp, who's in a 2-pack with Earth Mode Sideswipe. That is probably my favorite Kingdom Deluxe. Again, in that case, you also have to be into a Transformer who turns into a bird. This is what I mean by it's very subjective, right? Like, some of the best experiences might involve an entire mode that simply puts you off because your taste might not be wholly tactile. It might be into, like, you know, overall aesthetic specificities as well. Is it worth to get into Minipla, Super Minipla, SMP? I forgot they rebranded to SMP. I just realized I was about to. I didn't even mean to. I was almost going to say one of the words. Anyway, that aside, yes, Minipla is very good. The only reason I don't keep up with it is I still have unbuilt Minipla from the early 2010s, and I feel bad buying more when I have unbuilt stuff. But Minipla is generally really solid. I forgot to rebrand to SMP because many years ago we used to have the undersized version of a big deluxe toy. It'd be called the STD version, and that was great. And we stopped doing that. We better find another. Anyway, that's my Spream plug right there. On this thing, on the stream pre-show thing, I want to get an animated GIF in here. I'm assuming I can just load one in. I want to get like a little bubbles appearing over my head or something. Yeah, someone else has got to answer the what Minipla to buy, because I'm years and years out of date of having very comprehensive knowledge. Like, I would say with Minipla, it would just make it like, what looks good to you, because if it's from the last 10 years, it's probably good. So I would say just like go with the one that is a design you like. Yeah, I heard the fans hobby bigger figures. I've mostly heard positive feedback on them. It's just like, I think I can only like buy really one, and I'm kind of dead set on getting their Thunderclash someday. So I think that's also why I've just been not looking at any of the other ones. I'd like to see Spream from Impactor. I think someone did that custom, because that's come up before. Oh, I've messed with briefly at least, the Tokyo ones. I think they might be hard to get now. Someone implied to me they were hard to get at some point. I don't know if that's still the case. It's really difficult with Mandarake kind of cut off from me because of DHL shipping. I can't do casual Mandarake, like, unregistered SAL purchases anymore, and that's been oddly, how do you put this? Critical damage to me collecting several lines. Oh, I heard that Minipla Sigma 7. I heard that Minipla stuff for Go-Go 5 was really good. Yeah, for if you want to go for vehicular aesthetic stuff, like if you think that the Cybertronian alt modes look good, the Bumblebee movie deluxes so far have been really solid. Um, who else has been cool? It's a Voyager Studio Series Hot Rod or Kingdom Rodimus Prime. I think are really solid. I really like Studio Series Cup's transformation. I don't think that that's necessarily a popular opinion, but I think it's a really cool transformation. It does a lot of mass reshaping that is very interesting. I'm just looking at like what's nearby. I really like Studio Series 86 Jazz, but like a whole bunch of people's have broken and mine hasn't, so I suspect I just got really lucky, or I didn't notice the break. Yeah, the Go-Go 5 Minipla stuff was all Tamashii Web exclusive, I think, or at least most of it was. Oh yeah, Studio Series 86 Blur is also a solid toy. His head sculpt is funny, but the toy's good. Buzzworthy Bumblebee Silver Streak or any version of the Siege or Earthrise Datsuns I think are good. I suspect that they have been susceptible to some paint wear, but as an actual toy, I think they're really cool. I really like Earthrise Sunstreaker. I did a review of him. At least one person did not agree with me at all, so bear that in mind, but I think that toy's really cool. Yeah, Naval Commander, I want to know I'm getting a good one. So I kind of want to... I want someone else to find one for me and like at a convention and confirm to me it's good and be my like my toy purchasing parent for a minute. Make sure I'm buying the right one. I think there's a good chance we'll get a Hasbro Thunderclash at some point. He's precisely the kind of thing that would be a name pull for Legacy. Because you just really got to get someone who turns into a truck. And there's like, at least 2 toys now that turn into trucks. Bulkhead and Motormaster. They are super duper trucks. Laser Optimus, sorry, that's 3. 3 super duper trucks. Yeah, recent runs of Naval Commander should be fine, but anything secondhand should be checked. Yeah, I'd really want to make sure. Because I hate dealing with parts replacement with third-party companies. Even the good ones, it's fine, but like I hate the extra hassle. If I can avoid it. Studio Series Perceptor. If you like Perceptor and you don't mind, the kind of inherent silliness of his alt modes, either of them, like that's also a solid toy. Yeah, Fans Hobby, like, with my Athena, like, the friggin' not Micromaster, the Headmaster head for my first Athena, it was a horror show what happened to that, and they did get a replacement to me. So, yeah, as far as I know, they're great to work with for that stuff. I also, this is me and probably my own neuroses, I always feel like I'm causing someone to have a bad day when I ask for parts replacement. So I try to avoid the situation altogether if I can. Thoughts on the new Wreckers logo? If you mean the one from the Amazon capsule, I think it looks fine. Like I feel like we've seen it before, but I'm guessing it's like slightly different here and there. It feels like something we've seen before. I gotta sip some of this Coke Zero that I did not touch while I was playing against Aaron, because Aaron friggin' reawakened on the spot. My poor ice cubes. There's not even a trace of them anymore. But yeah, oh boy. Just the whole notion of, like, the Transformers Buyer's Guide is, like, fascinating to me because there is no short answer to that. So inherently, I'm distrustful if I were ever to see, like, a video that says Transformers Buyer's Guide, but the idea of the project is fascinating to me because you'd need to make like a 30-40 minute long video that like with chapters to go into like what different major branches of fan tastes exist and how different toys satisfy them. This is also why I'm not a very marketable YouTube person, because the way I think about toys is not very what's the word I'm looking for? Inducive to quick fire review quote unquote content. But I'm trying. Yeah, tenacity. Yeah, it's silly, right? Especially with Fans Hobby, whom I have gotten parts replacement from before, and who are demonstrably equipped and fine with it. And I'm still like, oh, but what if I have to replace part? Someone might have been having a hard day, and I'd be the person who made their day worse. And it's like, I don't know, bad customers have like given me that particular neurosis. And I barely, it's not like I had bad customer experiences as a retail worker. My what do you put, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm getting all addled in the brain. My retail experience is mostly limited to concession stand work, which sort of eschews a larger swathe of bad retail experiences. I was extremely lucky. But you see enough bad customers, and you always feel like I want to be nice to people who do work in customer service. Yeah, Sea Striker, I've thought about the video essay style for Transformer toy stuff, and I want to do a couple of them. I have topics that I would be very interested in. But it involves a lot of pre-writing that I always put off in order to tell myself, well, first I gotta do like a couple reviews, though. I got these reviews I gotta do. I got this actual work I gotta do. But no, I really want to do a few of them. I had a couple ideas. I wanted to do a talk about, this is not so much related to toy reviews. I want to put my thoughts into a video at some point about why I don't like the word content for online media, and why it's fine to use it if you're using it. Like, I'm not mad, but just, personally, I don't like the way that it slipped into our vocabulary. That's been on my mind for a couple years. What toy official or third party do you think does the best job of using transformations as a vehicle for storytelling? My neuroses activate where I quickly say, I would not say I know the best one, but I know some good ones. Which is not helping anyone, right? I had one right in mind. Magic Square Menasor does storytelling transformation to do the BS Menasor combination really well, in my opinion, for various reasons. One of them is on the back of the fact that the arm robots have 3 different ways they can turn into the arms. There's a ton of inherent storytelling in Magic Square's Stunticon Menasor trailer, and the way that it transforms. And in fact makes me very happy that the Legacy one is not going for I prefer the idea of the all-in, quote-unquote, 6th Stunticon, who's the trailer, but I like what the Legacy one is doing, and I kind of like it's not doing an all-in-one transformation, because the Magic Square one does it so well for my taste. I kind of like the Legacy one going for the Power Pack, power-up version, and building it around a base mode, which, the Magic Square one just skips having a base mode. But yeah, the content thing is, like, that's not even a video essay. That's just probably talking in front of a camera, like old-timey 2010 YouTube. But it's always been on my mind, because I talked about this at TFCon last year in Toronto, the little one that we had when we did the media panel where all my stuff didn't work right, so I did a big Q&A segment at the end. The main reason I don't like content the way that it's been included into the vocabulary now is I feel it is, by design, it makes someone not feel highly about their own work, if that makes sense. Magic Square is one of the small ones. It's one of the pocket scale ones. Because the word content, and just whenever I hear people go like, yeah, I'm currently a content creator. The content I make, and it's kind of like, it just so inherently devalues what someone does. To hear someone use that to describe their own work, to me, is kind of tragic. Because even the silliest YouTube video about a toy that you bought is inherently, it should be more than just like it's content to fill out the internet. Because it's, I don't know, it's such an unromantic and grunty way to, I think, devalue media. It just kind of bums me out. Because I mean, I used to like I just never liked even when I would look at one of the old States of Let's Play stuff. I would call it's potato chip videos, not just content. It's like potato chips. That doesn't mean it's bad. It's just it's tasty. There's a whole bunch of it, and it doesn't leave like a lot of nutrition with you, but it's tasty. Yeah, and Tenacity mentioned content feels so corporate. I think this is me just conspiracy theory, so bear with me, but I genuinely believe the way that we all, as a larger internet community, just use content as the word, I think was seeded in by corporations to inherently devalue creatives who then go on to work at those corporations to, just exercise control, keep creatives under a heel of sorts, of a heel that they themselves put onto their own head. And yeah, even in my opinion, even when you are making something that's just work, just to fill out a quota and get a job done, even then, if you are using your expertise to do it, don't call it content yourself. If someone else calls it content, then whatever. That's why I think is really the big thing that bugs me. It's not when other people say your content, right? Like I've winced now and then when someone face to face, as a genuine compliment, said, "Oh, I love your content," and I didn't pop off at them because they mean it well, because it's in the vocabulary. It is not inherently negative to a lot of folks, especially viewers, to say content, because it's like saying, if you say, "Oh, you want a Kleenex," it's like if you popped off at them going like, "Don't you mean a tissue paper?" But when people refer to their own work as content, even when it is kind of filler stuff, or it's this for a job, or it's hitting a quota, you still used your expertise to create it, and to then refer to it yourself as content feels like something that was almost by design of the greater culture to make you denigrate your own efforts. That's what bothers me about it. So anyway, I have to try to figure out how to turn the last 5 minutes into a 40-minute video, so we can get a couple ad breaks in there. Then we hit that up with the right tags, get on that algorithm. See, this is why I'm bad at being like a lucrative YouTuber. But I'm still trying, and I have fun trying. Capitalism ruining everything since its inception. Yeah, like I almost don't even want to say it's just like, oh, it's capitalism. It's just like, it is the people who dictate work to the creative, I guess, as a body, who I think it comes from. Two good ones here. So Tenacity, I'm going to let my music snob out for a split second, but calling it content feels like you're undermining your integrity, artistic integrity for the sake of consumption. Yeah, and like, the word content, bouncing off that, it's like you're doing it, but you're not even doing it on purpose, or you're not even doing it snarkily, or in like a sort of like, a sarcastic way. It's like you're doing it inadvertently, is the part that I find so chilling. And yeah, musicians don't call themselves musical content creators. They call themselves musicians. Whenever people say, "Oh, I'm a content creator," one of the first things I'll say is like, look, if you were a chef, you don't say, "I create nutrition content." You don't present someone with something that you crafted in the kitchen as like, "Here, have some sustenance." You say, "Here, have a sandwich. Have some food I made for you." You don't say, "Here, consume sustenance." Like, that's always the one I go to myself. Adam Edgman, I've been in many sponsorship conversations, and anytime a would-be investor refers to the work I'm representing as content, I try to wrap up the call or drink as soon as possible. Yeah. And yeah, Sea Striker, in general, we don't appreciate ourselves enough. And let me say, as someone who has, undiagnosed, but I'm pretty sure, fairly heavy amounts of imposter syndrome and anxiety type stuff, I just feel demonstrably through observation and evidence I have noted in my mind. I find it a lot easier to tell other people, you really got to appreciate the work you do, especially when it is creative of any sort. That's why it doesn't come up as much anymore, because the times change. But like the whole thing of like, oh, should I go on YouTube and make a video? It's like, hell yeah! And it's like, oh, I don't think I'll do a good job. Even better. That means that the first video you make is going to be super unique, and it's going to inform something more interesting later down the line, even if it's horrible. Just go and get in it. Make a thing that's yours. That's important to me. Like, I've been watching a lot of streamers of late, and there's just such creativity out of a couple of Twitch streamers, and that's not like a platform thing. I think, anything made, I think, is inherently platform agnostic at its very base level, because it's experiential, right? And yeah, I just wish more people appreciated what they do. And going back to my whole thing of like how I feel like seeds were set up early on, how many years was it where you would be, it would be implied to you to not say, hey, I made a YouTube video. It would be to shuffle into the environment, hang your head a little bit in your tone, and go like, hey, I made a, it's kind of stupid. I made a YouTube video about something. Like, you all remember that, right? That was still around a little while ago. That whole notion of like, not being like joyous and saying like, yo, I made a thing. My friends, come and see the thing I made. But you go like, hey, buds, it's so stupid. I'm lousy and but I made a YouTube video. I don't know. Do you want to check it out? Like, I think that was part of the root of leading to the whole thing of calling it content, right? Like, I see a through line in there of like, point A leads to inherently calling anything put on YouTube like, oh, you make content. You make content about a thing you like, and it's like, oh man, it's like, what a bummer. Yeah, Picky Peeves, like with mini painting, there's a whole thing on mini painting, of like, and I have, having only really heavily done it a lot again for the last like year and a half or so. Hang on, I'm gonna mute the mic while I blow my nose. You don't need to hear that. So this has happened to me, and it happens to lots of people. It is really common when you do mini painting to go like, well, if I can't make it look like all the best stuff on YouTube and Instagram, I guess I'm terrible. And it's like, you don't have to be a top tier person to put paint on a miniature. It's fine. It's so like I just, hang on, I'm gonna share something I painted recently. I'm gonna be proud of something I did recently, but I'm gonna do it under the auspices that I didn't feel great about this until I shared it around a bit, and a couple of friends went like, oh damn, that looks really cool. Oh, I have to go find them off Discord. That's annoying. Hang on. There's got to be a roundabout way I can, oh yeah, I can open the browser off Discord. But I just painted a couple Malifaux miniatures, and I tried doing some object source lighting. OSL, as the kids call it. So I'll open my 3 images, and I'll share them on the stream. Because I am in fact now feeling very happy with them, even though there's little things that annoy me. I want to share what I did recently. Let's pop over here. So I just painted these two, and the first thing I thought when I was doing the object source lighting on Sonya Creed over here with her sword, I was just like, I can't get it. I can't get the nice bright line of edge lighting on her leg, and I can't get it to look like there are 4 slits of lighting coming off of the lantern. Oh, this is terrible. This is not my best. So I still posted it everywhere because I'm that kind of person, and like it was on the Weird Games Facebook group. Someone was like, "Oh, those denim lines on the wrinkles on Sonya's pants," and I was like, "What?" And like I didn't even notice I had gotten this in here, and then so I looked at her again, and I looked at the Purifying Flame again. And I was like, "No, hell yeah, I'm proud of these. I love the fire effect I did. I like my little black edge lining in here." And I felt way better about them. So like this is the kind of thing I paint these. And I did the thing. The first thing I thought when I got to this point, like even down here, you see this little shiny bit? That's because the matte varnish didn't go on properly, and I was like, oh, I even screwed up the matte varnish. Ugh. As though anyone's ever going to care about a small, glossy blemish on the edge of the base, right? But like my first thought was like, oh, I've seen people do way better OSL than this. Oh, I'm a scrub. And it's like, I'm painting them for myself, right? And also, not to pat myself on the back, Tenacity, thank you very much. Tygon, thank you very much. Like, also, a bunch of people told me, like, oh, those are really good paint jobs. And it's like, yeah, I guess they are. So yeah, Picky Peeves, I think Picky Peeves, for context, has been painting some Monpok. And like, yeah, like the finished one you shared, I forgot precisely the name of the model because I'm really bad with Monpok unit names. But like, especially like from the progress shot you posted to the end shot, I was like, damn, that's good. it's just a little dinosaur friend, but like the textures were jumping out at me. I was like, that's really freaking cool. And like it is okay to be a scrub. But also, I'm saying I don't think this is scrub tier. I think I'm a pretty solid hobbyist painter. Here, I'll show you my 2 close-ups. I'm really happy with these. You see on Sonya, I tried to highlight her iron mask in a certain way so that it had like implied noir lighting. This is assisted by actual lighting being primarily from the left in this photo, but like I also just didn't highlight the darker parts in here. I'm super happy with how her face mask turned out. Because I didn't want to paint it metal, because when something's really small, I kind of prefer highlighting to like blue grays and just kind of leaving it like that, and saving the metallic paint for like large chunks of metal. So I was really happy with her mask, and you can see like the OSL I got on the leg, which I'm happy with. I wish it was more stark, right? Like I wish there was more sharp lines here, but I also remember this is supposed to be like just denim pants, right? And like they are not inherently reflective, so there's arguments to be made, right? Either way. Purifying Flame, I'm so happy with the fire on this, because I'll say the specific thing I wanted to do. I wanted the fire to be bright, and I wanted the skeleton to be dark, because the thing I learned about light sources in painting early on with a Darth Vader I painted is light sources need to have very dark contrasting spaces right next to them, even if scientifically that doesn't make sense. Visually, it gets across the bright lights way better than if this was like bright bone into bright flame. So I did like really dark washing on the skeleton, and then tried to just highlight little bits and pieces so you could sort of get implied stuff. Now the fire, this is contrast Eoden yellow and then contrast Gryph-hound orange glazed onto the tips, and that's it. This is just like a statement of how friggin' good contrasts are for glazing, basically. It's like a 1 drop contrast to 3 to 6 drops contrast medium. It was like 1 drop contrast to 2 or 3 drops for the yellow, so it would just go on. And then I heavily thinned down the orange so it would just get into the tips, and I just went across the tips a couple times with it. I did that on Sonya's sword as well. It's easier to see in the side shot. But like this is actually really easy to do with contrast Eoden yellow, I think. Is it Eoden yellow? Yeah, that's the orangey yellow. Not Nazdrag. So the orangey yellow and the Gryph-hound orange. This was super easy to do, this fire. You just had to thin it down and pop it in, because the Eoden yellow is inherently not yellow, it's a very bright orange. So when I put the Gryph-hound orange on, like the glazing almost happened like magic in front of my eyes. It was really cool. Anyway, that's the thing I painted. This poor stream, I really should split this up in the archive if I can. So the gameplay is preserved on its own. I'm going to see if I can do that. I'm not sure if that messes with view counts, but I also don't really care. I'll put a note in the description so people know when the gameplay stops. Anyway, now we've hit 4 hours of streaming. That's more like usual. Chris Vangelis Internet live stream. So anyway, I will end it there. So thanks all for hanging out. As always, I'm going to try to stream more often. I say that every single time, but genuinely, I do really try to. Boy, the weeks still go by so fast. And I hope you're all staying safe out there. Oh, sorry, Eonden. I'm so bad with Games Workshop not elf words. Sorry, they're not even elves. They're not even Eldar. They're Ealdari now. Right. I'm bad with their words with lots of consonants in them. Anyway, I hope you're all staying as safe as you can. Because, it's... Now we're in the weird part, right? So anyway, I hope you're staying as safe as you can. I'm gonna, always try to stream more. The TFTCG stuff, I feel like is what I want to try to stream a little bit more, because it's also digital streaming. I want to stream painting a lot, because I owe, as Picky Peas pointed out some time ago, I owe you all still a Monpok painting stream. But I want to do some digital streaming too. And TTS is a fun way to do it with people. Although I'm still going to try to do some Hitman streaming, because I haven't played Hitman in a while, and I have a new machine now, so hopefully it won't melt if I stream playing a modern game. But until then, we'll pop back into the pre-show thing, and talk to you all later on. I've been watching a lot of Twitch stream VOD, so I feel like I'm supposed to send you all to raid somebody. So I don't. Everyone send AKSMTH Twitter message. Flood his inbox and tell him congratulations because he got a very cool gift recently. I should do a Soto. I have so much unbuilt Soto. A Soto stream would be a really good Extra Life thing. Yeah, I gotta do that. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. Now I'm trying to sit here to stretch this out another minute. Figure out how long I wait, right, before I push stop streaming for it to not cut off the audio. So we're going to give it 5 whole seconds. And then I'll shout Eon Den, and we'll see if it keeps that.